I'm super excited about this. I think it looks great. This is the tiered ladder bookshelf. We're gonna open this thing up, see what's all involved with the assembly, and then give a full review once we get it set up. So let's get started. Here is what comes in the package. Install is actually super easy. They do send directions along, but I can just tell you here quick. You're gonna start at the bottom with the feet. You're gonna take the stud. There's a short side and a tall side. The short side goes into the bottom piece. So in this case, it would be the foot. Now this is going to slide up through your tiered section. And then the part that's sticking out, you're going to take your next tube and then screw that down onto that. And that's going to pinch your tiered section in there. And that's what's going to hold it in place. So you really need no tools at all for assembling this. But the first step to make everything go extra fast, every tube here is going to need a stud put into the top of it. So I'm going to go through and put all those studs into the tubes now, and then we'll start putting all the sections together. All right, once you have a stud sticking out of one end of each of your tubes, you're ready to start the assembly. But before we do that, I want to show you something. The quality, these are metal tubes and they are powder coated like a dark graphite, almost black color. So they're going to be nice and strong. And then the tier sections are an MDF board. You can see it in the cutouts for the tubing. See that? But it has like a wood grain veneer, and you can get this in 2 different style wood colorings. But yeah, so they're gonna be super strong, but it is not actual plywood or solid wood. Now, you're going to get a stud put into every tube except for 4. Those 4 are gonna be the very top section, and I'll show you later. You actually come down from the top with a bolt to attach those so you don't have a stud sticking up. It'll make sense as we assemble it. Let's start putting this together. You're going to want to start with the biggest one first and get your 4 feet underneath. All right, you're going to notice there is a sticker on each one that said this side up, so you don't need to worry about which side goes up. So to start, we're going to get our 4 legs pushed up through, and then we're just going to set that here so we can set our next tubes on top of that. Once you have your feet under it, yes, it's very wobbly until you get these tightened down, but you're going to take your next 4 tubes with the stud pointing up and just screw those on, and it sandwiches that bottom tiered shelf right like that, and that's what's going to hold it solid. So once you get it down snug, give it a good twist to tighten it up, and that's what's going to really lock it in place. All right, once you get your 4 uprights in, you're going to take your next section and set that right on top, and those studs will poke through this, and we're going to repeat this process for all 5 sections. You'll notice your uprights are going to lean in to kind of make the transition narrower and narrower as it goes up. Now, I want to point something out that they don't talk about, but it'd be good to know. If you wanted to make this, say, a 3 or a 4 tier shelf or a tiered bookcase instead of the full height, you can definitely do that. All you need to do is, rather than put these studs in, do those last 4 bolts in the top instead of the studs. So you can make this your top shelf or the next one rather than going the full height. If you desire to have a shorter shelf, you can definitely do that. All right, remember our last set doesn't have studs in it, and our top piece doesn't have that cutout part in it. That's because the top ones get these bolts they send along. This is the only time during the entire installation that you're going to have to use a tool, and it's just this little Allen wrench that they send along, and that's to tighten these bolts on the very top piece. So you're going to need to get this up here, line this up. I would get all 4 of your bolts started and then tighten them up with the Allen wrench. Now they do send some wood grain stickers along if you want to cover the little bolts on the top. You can do that. You just stick it over and it helps hide those bolts. But that's it for the assembly. It didn't take, well, it only took 1 tool. It was that Allen wrench for like 60 seconds at the end to tighten the 4 bolts on top. So basically you assemble the entire thing with no tools, which is awesome. They did a really good job designing that, and it is really solid. I mean, you can put a lot of weight on there. That's not going anywhere. They also send these straps along if you want to tie this back to your wall, make it even more secure. Say you have a pet that might be climbing on it or something, you can tie this back to the wall, make sure it's not going to tip. All right, guys, I have this set up in my office here. It looks so good. I mean, you got the dark metal posts, the uprights, and the wood grain tiers. It's just perfect for putting books, pictures, plants, things like that on it. I'm not sure if this will be the final place I put it, but I wanted to get it set up, get an idea how it looks. But it is really solid. And another thing I want to point out, a great feature, the feet on the bottom of this are adjustable. So say you want to lean it back towards the wall a little bit, or if your floor is uneven, you can rotate the feet and it adjusts the height so you can get that thing perfectly level just where you want it. So that's really nice. But just take a look at this thing. Just really happy, really good quality. It was super easy to assemble. So I'm super excited about this. I think it looks great. If you are looking for a tiered bookshelf, this one is awesome. Make sure you check it out.